Wait, you record these?
Oh my God. And do my backup recording there. We are live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Got it. Got it.
Should we do some social media sharing here? Real
And
quick?
I lied to you. My wife was supposed to take off an hour and a half ago, and now they can't close the cabin doors.
Oh, good. She
Well,
might be
that's the
stuck here.
problem.
Now they
It
can't
really
shut
makes
the,
the cabin windy.
now they can't shut the door on the plane. Maintenance is coming. Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Don't they have duct tape?
I don't know, but my wife's been sitting on the plane for 2 hours. She's not happy.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing she's not here. Anyhow. Well,
No, it's a good thing you're not there, because if she was
Yeah.
with you, this wouldn't be an issue.
That's true.
But if you were there, you'd be on a plane that she can't get off, that has a door they can't actually close.
yeah. So if I was there, she just wants me to be miserable is basically what we're saying.
See, love is such a beautiful thing.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, she'll be nice and cranky, and she'll have
Maybe
her
I'll-
wine, and maybe tomorrow will be fine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I said maybe you'll be asleep by the time she gets home.
That's my plan, Ashley. Oh, maybe. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Excuse me. What?
that's right. It'll be way past your bedtime. What am I talking about?
I'm pretty much waiting for. Are we almost done with the show? Because I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
thanks for joining us.
Where can people find you?
Find me over at the Mac Observer. No, we can't.
All right.
All
Just getting things posted here, and social media will be done here.
Where do you live, Andrew? Where do you live?
I am in Michigan, so it's been kind of cold, a little snowy lately. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been up and down here. It's like 20 degrees Monday, Tuesday. It's going to be 88 degree, 78 degrees on.
Yeah, be 68 here on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
The hell. Right now I have to look and see what weather I have. I mean, it was in the mid 60s here today.
You guys,
No, it was
Yeah.
bad here.
Oh my God.
It was cold.
I missed it. We hit 70 today, and I was inside in front of a microphone. And
I haven't left my house, to be honest with you. It could be like the sun. It could be 130 degrees out there. I wouldn't know.
oh, you'd know because your AC would kick on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well,
Yesterday it was
in the
30
basement, I don't know if it
degrees,
was
and I was like, oh, this is so nice today.
Mhm.
crazy. Okay,
So-
almost there.
yeah. So the internet's not so good out there then, where you are?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we go through what's his name? I forgot now.
Not Musk, but the Starlink? No.
Nah.
Oh, I think it's Charter we have.
Okay.
There, that's what it is.
That's cable, right?
Charter, yes, cable. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Got that. All right, now I'm
Telling
going
you.
to start audio
Everybody
hijack.
Everybody needs a fiber optic cable into their house
Yeah,
at this point.
Oh,
I
that
wish
sounds beautiful.
it
It's
would.
awesome.
I just was hooking up, having a fiber line hooked up in my office today. I wanted to just take it and put it to my house.
when my wife is looking for like an apartment for work, and I'm gonna live out there here and there. I told her, look at it in the
I might actually
description.
meet one in person for the first time.
Yeah, I said, yeah, if I ever get, well, I was out there once, but I told her
Good
to
work.
get a place that accepts dogs and has a Starbucks nearby and has fiber going
Oh,
into the place.
got
And that's
Plenty
all
of
I care
Starbucks.
about. I know.
All right, let's go ahead and get it started. We're at episode 192. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 192 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
Was I here last week? I'm losing
Yes,
count.
Yes, you were.
All right. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
Well-
it's a record. I'm doing good. I'm actually, working.
That's what
I
you're
work
saying.
first. I mean, it's the first time I've had a literal full-time job in 20 so years. So I'm not quite used to it, and I'm falling behind on my tech news. So this is all news to me. So I'm looking forward to hearing it.
All right, so we'll get you caught up here.
Thanks.
But I would like to welcome a new guest to the show, and I'm so thrilled to have him, Andrew Orr from the Mac Observer. How you doing, Andrew?
Hi, David. This is my first time here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and you're a fine writer at the Mac Observer, and we're going to hit your knowledge with all the great articles you write every day on that site, as well as your expertise in security. We'll be talking about iOS security in just a bit, but of course we have to have Jeff Gambit back on the show. So how's it doing? How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, and I just love that you keep asking me back. It's so
Absolutely.
much fun to hang out with all of you. And Andrew, it's so awesome to get you to see you.
Yeah,
I know it's been a long time.
yeah. So
It's been
we'll have lot
over
of
a
fun.
week.
I think it's been 2 days for me. So we saw Mac voices. So, but yeah, we got a lot of news, and of course, this thing called a Apple event finally got announced. We'll be hitting that topic beta as we always do. So lots of stuff to talk about today. So let's just go dive right into the news this week. First article here. This is the Mac Rumors. Michael Douglas to star as Benjamin Franklin in an upcoming Apple TV Plus series. Apple did announce it this week. The new Benjamin Franklin show that is set to star Michael Douglas as as the character in a limited drama series based on the book A Great Improvisation, Franklin, France, and the Birth of America. So according to Apple, it'll explore Franklin's career right around age 70, and it's going to look like it's going to be a pretty interesting show. What do you think, Andrew? I think this is pretty cool.
It is interesting. From what I read of it, it is based on, it's a true story. It's how Benjamin Franklin, I think, was able to negotiate some kind of deal with France at the beginning of, the USA of America, and how he was able to have France support America during the times back then.
Yeah, no, yeah, and if you like you and many of us like U.S. history, this is going to be a pretty cool show to see. Don't you think, Warren? Is it something you like as history?
I liked Hamilton, the musical.
Well, there you go.
There you go. And that was musically
and I've been
explained to you.
Yeah, so I've been to Philadelphia, so I'm guessing this is going to be more of like a action murder series than a historical thing. Because again, I've been to Philadelphia.
Few of us have.
Oh, I see what you did there.
And then my last thought is, I don't know if anybody
Brotherly love.
If anybody's seen the Kaminsky Method series.
I love that show.
So my thought is like, I'm spoilers if you haven't seen it, hold your ears, but I don't care. At the end of the series, Michael Douglas gets a role as the old man in the sea, and it's sort of like cheesy. He has a nightmare that's like a cheesy film. That's kind of what I'm picturing for Michael Douglas at this point, because
well,
it seems.
Jeff, you like history? Something that would interest you? The show.
Nobody likes Hamilton.
I'm very interested in this. I mean, the whole thing with what Benjamin Franklin did. And the person that he was, I mean, this guy, I mean, he was a talker, and he could convince people to do all kinds of stuff, and he was a ladies' man.
Yes, he was.
So this might be a NC-17 series.
That's right.
I'm if it's historically accurate, then it should have an NC-17 rating.
Yeah, it's going to be
because the whole idea
we're
that
going like Netflix kind of porn, because Apple TV doesn't really.
Right. So so what do I have to do to get you to sign on to this deal? And then he starts unbuttoning clothes.
Did they ever have nudity, like any actual nudity on Apple TV shows? I know like Tim Cook was kind of against it, but I'm trying to.
Not as far as I know. Yeah.
A lot of F's and S's and a lot of curses, violence.
Well, of course.
but I don't know
Can't
if I
can't
ever
not
saw-
have that. That's real world.
I don't know if I've ever seen a naked person on Apple TV, and that might be a Tim Cookian thing. Anyhow,
Yeah. Next story is in on the Mac Observer. Oh yeah, this guy Andrew Orr wrote this article. This is Open Web Advocacy Group wants to fewer iOS browser restrictions. And a group of software engineers have launched a Open Web Advocacy. The goal is to challenge Apple's ban on third-party browsers on iOS and encourage the adoption of web apps. Since you wrote this article, Andrew, why don't you tell us about this? I'm really I've always questioned why Apple won't allow you to have your, not have to be on WebKit and have be able to have an independent browser. I mean, we at least won the fact that you can set your browsers themselves as default. So if you have Edge, if you have Firefox, whatever, that can be your default browser, but you're still using the engine in Safari and WebKit. So yeah, tell us about what the three different priorities that they say here.
Yeah, and that's really there are two main goals of this group, as I understand it. This group was formed recently, and one, they do want to challenge Apple's browser engine dominance, because like you said, on iOS and iPadOS, the mobile devices, they kind of force all the other third-party browsers to use their engine, WebKit, which, as we've kind of seen, that's great. But there have been, sorry, what was it called? There was some kind of IndexedDB. That's what I'm thinking of. So they force people to use their web browser, WebKit, but that also brings troubles like security issues, like,
right.
And these web developers don't have any control over that. And it sounds like this group does want to maybe have even the playing field between web apps and native apps, how those are treated. I think that has been another complaint. There have been accusations against Apple that they are somehow limiting web apps because they want to force people to the App Store. And it just sounds like this group wants to maybe talk to regulators and see if they can try to level that playing field.
Yeah. And like I said, they're trying to persuade Apple to allow these engines to give better development stuff. I mean, Firefox has got a number of browsers. They got the Firefox Focus, which I think is a great browser. The fact if you want to really surf privately, you can, and not have to turn on incognito mode or anything like that. So that's what's been great about Apple, at least opening up browsers. Because I remember it was like, God, oh no, Safari, that's it, can't use anything else. But they've really opened it up. But I think this is something I'm hoping that this group will push on. Jeff, did you have any thoughts on this?
I always have thoughts, even without diving in to get all the facts. Of course, I always have thoughts. All right. So my first thought is, from a security standpoint, how does opening up iOS to alternate web engines help with security? And I'm not saying that Apple shouldn't do this, but it seems to me like if you have one web engine, in this case WebKit, and that's the only one you have limited the number of attack vectors by not allowing other web engines. Now, whether or not that's a valid argument, I don't know, but it seems to me like if you have a platform and you can limit the number of web engines, then you are reducing the number of security threats. Now, it doesn't mean Apple shouldn't open up iOS to additional web browser engines at this point. As far as the whole web app thing, I find some delicious irony in this, because when Apple launched the iPhone, they said, make web apps, just make web apps. That's
right.
it. Right. And my guess is that if I were to really dig into this, what I would find is that the big complaint that developers are having with Apple's current status in the web app community is that what they want to do is write Chrome apps, and having to write something that is more general browser support as opposed to Chrome specific support is where they're having their problems.
Absolutely. Any thoughts, Warren?
Just kind of the financial edge to this, like who's it benefiting? Like to open up to different types of I don't know, like if I open up my iPhone and go to a website and the website works, then that's all I care about as a user. So,
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's Firefox or Opera or whatever that you go into, whatever engine you're trying to use, if it works, that's all the user cares about. If it's faster or better, I mean, what are they going to gain? I guess is what I'm trying to figure out by changing the technology. Anyways, unless there's financial reason, like Jeff mentioned, maybe Chrome maps, and if that's a thing, if people start writing, selling Chrome apps, that's a financial thing. So
yeah.
And
then next story, another card that you wrote on, Andrew, is Need Tor for iOS. Orbot has arrived on the platform. Orbot acts as a proxy server for people who provide security for network traffic. It was released on Android back in 2008, and this Tor on iOS app is now available. This is the official app from the Tor project. Andrew, what is the Tor browser? I mean, I know it's short for the Onion browser, and of course, it's open source. Is it something that a normal user would want to use?
I think it is a good privacy tool for people, and like you said, it just recently got to iOS. It has been on Android for a long time. There have been Onion browsers on iOS for a while, but this is the first, as far as I know, the first one from the Tor project direct. So this is the official thing. And to try to summarize it, Tor, it stands for the Onion router. It was developed by the Navy a long time ago. It's government funded, but it's also open source. And what it does is try to protect your browsing by it's different from a VPN, because what a VPN does, it just acts as a middleman between the client and the destination server, like whatever website you're trying to connect to. A Tor, what it does is kind of bounces your traffic around before it gets to the destination. I don't know how many kind of hops it takes, but it's all encrypted. And what Orbot is, it is a proxy. So there are distinct Tor browsers where you go to this app, you connect to the network, and you can access these special .onion websites through the app. And then when you're done, you cancel it and you resume whatever you were doing before. Orbot is different just because you press that button and connect to it, and then you can access Onion websites inside, say, Safari. So it's just a little bit more kind of open-ended, I think.
Probably open more for someone who's going to be a little more advanced. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a common user that just doesn't do much on their iOS device. I don't know if this would be something for the faint at heart, because you need to be kind of an IT type person to want to do something like this. And the app is the app itself, is it not in the App Store, or is it you have to go to Orbot's website to find out more about that?
Now it is officially on the in the App Store, and it is free. But I agree with you. Maybe not everyone would want to download this, because it's generally recommended for people in very extreme situations, like whistleblowers, journalists covering, say, the recent happenings in Ukraine and Russia. And It's it's just for those pretty extreme types.
Okay. And Warren, you're extreme type. Would you use something like this? Because you're always on beta, so I call you extreme type.
I'm living on the edge, man. I'm living on the edge. Yeah, I mean, like Jeff said, if you're giving up government secrets, strange porn fetishes, people possibly, and somebody who just kind of downloads torrents all day, I guess. That's who. Can't think of anybody else who would probably need that or want it.
Well, speaking of that, Jeff, what about you? Would you use? Was this something you would use?
I have used.
He does. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, I've used Tor over the years, and my take on Tor is that if you don't know what it is, you don't need it, and a lot of people that would otherwise think, oh, I should get Tor because I don't want Facebook to know what I'm doing, or I'm tired of the idea that my ISP can track my activity, so I'm going to get Tor, because my nephew told me about this. And then they get it, and then they're all pissed off. So is my service provider intentionally slowing down my bandwidth, because this is not what it was like before, and my movies kind of stutter now, and it takes longer for stuff to load. And hey, when you have something that does what Tor does, I mean, amazingly useful tool. But like Andrew said, you're going through multiple encrypted hops out and back, and that adds time to the whole process of loading a web page. And depending on how fast or slow some of these servers are that you're going to pass through, hey, you can have a significant degradation of your bandwidth, or perceived degradation of your bandwidth.
It'd be very slow. It'd be a close, very slow experience. So, all right, let's go and move on here. Next story. This is an Apple Insider. Giles Martin remasters Beatles 1 for spatial audio. This is exciting. The Beatles compilation album 1, which has got 27 of the #1 songs of all time from the Beatles, which is one of the best albums you could ever buy, is now being remastered on Apple Music by Giles Martin, who's the son of the famed Beatle producer George Martin. Giles Martin had previously praised spatial audio and Dolby Atmos it's built on, and saying it doesn't always sound quite right, but he intends to remaster the Beatles album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band because of this, but now he just instead did 1 instead. So, and according to Engadget, the compilation of the Beatles hits have been entirely remastered by Martin. This is exciting. And Jeff, the audiophile you are, what do you think of this? I think this is exciting.
I'm very excited about this.
Is excited. It sounds like you guys might be excited about it.
Yeah, we're just a little bit excited about this. So it's the whole thing with the Beatles catalog. I have listened to so many remasterings of their music over the years, and it's fascinating just the significant difference in audio quality, or at least in how it's presented to you, depending on the remaster that you get. So I'm looking forward to hearing. Actually, I'm really looking forward to Sgt. Pepper.
Me too.
In spatial audio, because I mean, I've heard versions of that album where it just sounds like someone said, well, if I take this dial and slide it all the way to R, and this dial and slide it all the way to L, it's going to sound awesome.
Guys, hold on 1 second. Andrew, the Beatles are a band that were popular.
Oh my God! You had to.
Yeah, I had to. Go ahead.
I thank you.
Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead, Andrew. What do you think? Jeff is. We're both.
I could just go on the rest of the night, but yeah, Andrew, you should talk.
We're both.
Okay, I mean, the Beatles are great. Like, I won't dispute that, but I am a fan of spatial audio. I like it. So far we've seen it in generally Apple Music now for most other content. It's on Apple TV now. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't spread to Netflix. There was some rumor that it was going to be, but I guess Netflix turned that down. But what I was surprised by, I just remember, I think I was watching some concert on YouTube, and suddenly I realized, wait, this has spatial audio, because if I turn my head, the sound is like still centered on the device. So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, whenever I watch an Apple TV show like on my TV here, I'm like, oh my God, it's really cool.
I'll be paying close attention to what
Yeah.
they do with this, because there's a lot of Beatles music that was recorded intentionally to be mono, because that's what you had for radio at that point. So so they recorded and mastered for mono, and you get some weird mixes because of people faking stereo for that over the years. Like, oh, let's just throw Ringo here, and we'll throw John here, and it'll be fine, even though they're just like completely on one channel.
Yeah, the last comments for you, Warren. So,
when I was what just made me think of Ashley. First of all, Love is the better album. And that was by his dad, right before he passed. And the show,
it was a great show too in Vegas.
We've seen the show about 5 or 6 times, but the album is made for them to do this for too, because if you listen to it, it has all the the birds tweeting, and it all kind of goes around you. So hopefully he'll do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then the other thought is when I bought my first real car, it was an Acura TXS, was that? Anyways, they had a whole thing at the time, and I forgot what they call it, but it was a super CD or something like that, or it was a. Do you remember this? And it was actually not the origin, but it was sort of like a spatial audio thing where it was kind of like, they tried it and never took off. I remember my dad actually bought like an actual external player for it because he liked it so much too, and that never took off. But that's what they're.
I did not invest in that technology. Because,
do you know what I'm talking about? It was like DVD.
Yeah, it's the same reason why.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah, there's so many technologies like that came out that I mean,
it sounded good, but you had to buy all new CDs for it, and there weren't a lot. I remember going to Best Buy, and there'd be like maybe like a little one half of a section of those albums, and I think
it didn't survive very long.
No,
but spatial audio is cool, and that's what I was trying to go for.
All right, a couple more quick stories here. This is an iMore. Slack is dropping support for iOS 13 on iPhone and iPad. You'll have to have iOS 14 or newer, and this is a pretty interesting, because a lot of app developers do tend to stay at least 2 versions back so they can continue to support those who can't, who are at the end of the road with their older devices. But then older devices are also are starting to become less and less of a device you want to keep anymore. But I can see why somebody like Slack wants to do something like this. Now they're owned by Salesforce. There are a lot of things are changing, of course, I'm sure. But I think this is a good idea that they keep these versions, with maybe 1 or 2 back, 2 at the most. So, Jeff, what do you think? I'm glad to see something like this.
I'm not surprised to see this at all. A lot of people forget that Slack was developed as a business tool, and it just so happens that because they don't charge for the entry tier, that it gets used for non-business stuff as well. But if you're developing a tool like this for the business community, your customers are not going to be using operating systems that are 2 generations old.
Yep, agreed. Yep. So, real quick, Andrew, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just reading because I just saw this update this morning, and these release notes just say, a friendly heads up, in order to keep up with the growing capabilities of newer operating systems, this is going to be the last version of Slack that supports iOS 13. And yeah, like Jeff said, I do agree with that. That makes sense to me. I don't know anything really about programming or development, but I can imagine that trying to support a lot of older operating systems maybe it just doesn't make sense at some point.
Yeah, like Jeff said, businesses they don't stay on the old versions very long. So, would you agree with that one?
Don't slack and get a newer device.
There you go. That's a good way to segue into the next article here. Last story here on Mac Rumors, Apple will soon offer Face ID repairs without replacing the entire iPhone. Apple stores and Apple authorized service providers will soon be able to replace Face ID on the Apple XS and newer without having to replace the whole device, according to an internal memo that Mac Rumors obtained from a reliable source. Apple said authorized technicians will have the access to a new true depth camera service part contained all Face ID and front camera modules, allowing for the same unit repairs. And Apple said that they'll move to help reduce the number of whole unit repairs complete. That's good because we know that Apple's have already decided they're going to offer service parts to basically anyone that wants to purchase them. So, and I had a 10s Max until I traded it in and had the display replaced, and of course it wasn't an authentic part. Oh gosh. And not that I wanted to spend double the price I paid for it. And of course, Face ID didn't work. So because of that exact thing. So Andrew, what do you think? I think this is, I'm glad to see.
I don't remember exactly which iPhone this happened with, but I do remember there was some big hullabaloo about people were trying to go and try to repair their iPhone with these maybe not Apple official providers, and it was this thing with their iPhones were bricked because it was something linked to Face ID, and it was just something where the device itself said, "This is a new screen or module, but it's not it wasn't an Apple authorized, so the whole device is bricked now." And I'm glad to see Apple doing this. They did release the Apple service program where a lot of people can have these more official tools and self-help things. And now we have this as well.
Okay. Jeff, any thoughts?
This has been so necessary for so long.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that just because they live someplace where they can get to an Apple store or a legit authorized Apple repair center to get their iPhone fixed, that's not the way it is in a lot of places. And there are a lot of legit repair companies out there or businesses out there, and they just couldn't do this kind of repair without bricking your device when they should have been able to do it. So this is a good move.
Very much. More last comment on this. We move on from the news.
No, other than if we're hoping to get a whole new free phone instead of just a new part, you'll be sad.
Yeah, they'll stop doing that. All right, let's move on to the topics of this week's show. And as I always do when I have a new guest, and Andrew, you being a new guest here on In Touch with iOS, we always ask our guests what Apple devices you own and how you use them in your daily workflow. So I'm going to go through and talk about all the devices that we focus on. iPhone, I know you have an iPhone, of course. What iPhone model do you use, and how does it work in your workflow?
So yeah, I have the iPhone 13 Pro. I really love it, and I did go from the 12 Pro to the 13 Pro. One of the major features for me was the macro feature in the camera. I just love it because macro photography has always been, my kind of thing I've been focusing on. I have an iPad, the iPad Pro. This is the first model from 2018. Yep. And, for a long time, I was kind of an iPad first person. I haven't been using it actually in a long time because at one point my arms just really got sore from reaching up to the touch screen because I'm on it all day writing. And so I moved back to my MacBook Air. Yep. I moved back to my MacBook Air and I got a mouse for myself, and now it's been more comfortable.
And Apple TV, you have an Apple TV, right?
I don't. No.
Okay.
You're not missing much.
Andrew, you just totally nailed why Apple's not going to do a touchscreen Mac.
Yeah. Keep it separate. So, and that's good.
And I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I know you can use a mouse and a keyboard now with the iPad Pro, but I still don't like how the cursor works with the iPad. I just don't like it. So Mac all the way.
It's better if you use a Magic Trackpad instead of a mouse when you're when you're using external devices to control your iPad. Makes a huge difference because now you can do gestures.
Definitely agree with that. So,
all right, point.
Good. Well, we welcome you to the show. Glad you shared what your devices do with your workflow. So,
quick update on that, just to let you know. With Unity, is that what it's called?
Universal Control.
That's right, Universal Control.
Oh yeah.
And Monterey. Yeah.
Yeah, so it does work. The gestures with the trackpad also work on the iPad. The first version it didn't, but then they fixed it, and it's sweet. So, just add on that. Go ahead.
All right, and we'll hit Beatty here. We're actually wanted to move up the story here to talk about, as we came on recording this week, Apple announced the Peak Performance, the first Apple event for 2022. It'll be on March 8th as we record this, and we wanted to give our predictions and such. I found it funny. We have a link in the show notes of an article here that, Apple really did a number of teasing people at the fact that they announced this so late. I mean, I don't think we found out about it until earlier this week as we record. And usually you find out about a week or two before it actually gets announced. So even Siri, when you would ask Leslie, it would tell you had to wait a little longer for the Apple event to kind of tease you. And then, of course, a day later, we found out there's an event.
All the news outlets had Facebook posts that were, that they're like, I guess Apple's not having an event. And then, an hour later, they did it. And, the joke was that it aged well, obviously. But, it was, in fact, you had a link in here, too, in the show notes. And you just took it out too, saying that they canceled that there's no event.
Yeah, well, yeah. So just to get the kind of the chuckle, that's kind of first time I ever remember Apple doing that. Well, kind of teasing. Well, you'll just have to wait, and then a day later, here we go. We do have a link, of course, to Andrew's article for you being here. We always I'm happy to link back to all the fine work you do, that you talked about this Apple event. And I think we have a pretty good idea of what the three things that we're probably going to expect at this as an announcement at this event, which would be the iPhone SE, the third generation. What do you guys think? I think obviously it's long in the tooth. It was way overdue. It's a 4G phone that's currently on the market right now. I think this is just so important. So what are your guys' thoughts? So Jeff, I'm going to start with you. What do you think with the iPhone SE?
Yeah, I think Apple's going to keep the SE around, and it makes sense to bring it up to 5G because I mean that's where we're heading now. There's also an economic reason to do that, and that's because once you go to 5G for the components, that's universal. 5G is 5G everywhere. So it's not like you have to make the 5G phone for a specific carrier or a specific country. And just so you know, I'm actually not in the middle of a mild earthquake. Kat decided to jump up on my desk and walk around and bump into everything, and she just left. So
all right,
she made her cameo appearance. Anyhow,
I missed it too.
Well, she managed to go under the camera.
I didn't.
Yeah, so you didn't get to see you. So
I'm like, Jeff, you might be making that up because I didn't see anything.
I heard.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just having a mild seizure. No,
earthquake.
Anyhow, yeah, it's time for Apple logically to do the upgrade to 5G for the SE.
Absolutely. And then rumors, I have been doing a lot of rumors lately, but this is the type of this is event, you kind of have some fun here with rumors. They were even here, we're making rumors of the fact that this price point could go as low as $199, which I found that extremely hard to believe. Apple would never go that low in a price on an iPhone. So I don't know what do you guys think? I just don't find it. I find that to be very credible.
It's the last device with a button, right? So
yes,
it's the sole button survivor.
Touch ID, right?
Touch ID. $199 for that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if it was like a part of like a T-Mobile deal or something like that. That's what they kind of said last time too, and included all the remember. It said start at $899, but that was they had all the specials. Anyhow, personally, I think the people, the customers, that phone appeals to, they probably don't care if it's 4G or 5G.
They could care less. I've got family member who has it, and
I think
care
just
less.
You're not going to get a $300 phone and worry about like the extra. You're probably not even going to like spring for the extra money for the plan at that if it does cost it. So,
and it's got the A15 processor, which that's the same chip that's in the iPhone 13, which is even more interesting. The fact you're getting the same processor as a phone that's at least almost double what the cost is of an SE. Obviously we don't know what the price is yet, but interesting to see that they're really putting it in line to the iPhone 13 model, and be able to charge less for it. So like I said,
how much the second highest phone up is the mini, right? The 13.
The 13 mini, yep, and then the 13 Pro.
So
and the 13 and the 13 Pro.
Right. So if you're choosing between the I keep forgetting the name of what it's going to be called, the 5G, the 5S. Where's my notes? Anyhow, if you're choosing between that and the mini, and the price difference is going to be low enough, I think eventually they're going to get rid of the button phone because it's just going to phase out.
Yeah, but I think it's the low end of the market, and it's going to generate more interest. And not, I mean, iPhone is 50% of Apple's business, so it's going to be interesting to see. And then the iPad Air, they'll have a 5th generation, they say, with another A15 chip and the 5G, and it will have center stage, which follows you along when you're on FaceTime, and will it have the Touch ID on the power button like the previous Air had? I'm assuming they're going to carry that over. Wouldn't you think, Andrew?
I would assume so. When I looked at the rumors, I only saw the 5G and the center stage, and I didn't see anything about Touch ID or Face ID. So I assume it would, keep the Touch ID.
Yep. So any thoughts, Jeff, on the iPad?
I think Touch ID will stay. It's a more economical price point. And considering this is a device that is also targeting education markets, then that just kind of fits in with what Apple historically has done for that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then of course the rumors. So the big chatter lately has been the Apple's AR and VR headset. I think we're a long way off on that. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? With that device?
Yeah.
I
think the best you can hope for Apple announcing AR VR platform that goes beyond what they're doing with iPhone and iPad would be an announcement at WWDC so that developers can start working on software, and then a developer kit that will cost a lot of money, and then they'll have that for I don't know, at least through the holiday season, maybe through WWDC next year when they do an official launch.
Mhm.
And then that way they'll have all this time to work on the platform in a more real world environment as opposed to just their labs. And then it gives developers time to really start building up their applications and have them at a usable point when Apple's hardware ships to the public.
Absolutely.
I think Tim Cook, I think real fast, Tim Cook is walking on stage with a big thing on his head come next week.
Just you think it's gonna happen? Okay.
Yep. It's gonna come out with the big goggles and say, "Hey, everybody." No.
And he's going to say big honking things hanging off your face and giving you neck muscle injuries wasn't cool until we did it, and now it is.
So
he's gonna put on just regular, like he's gonna put like a Steve Jobs and like just put on regular, reading glasses and go, ooh, yeah, ooh.
I want to watch
Coming
Tim walking around
2026.
stage like this.
all the gays. Right. Speaking of all the gays, Jeff's been putting around all these crazy rumors, and he had an hypothesis of what this Apple event really is going to have. And I know I'm probably going down this crazy road, but Jeff, I love you so much that you have to tell our listeners what your hypothesis is for this event.
Okay. Well, when you brought it up earlier, I thought you were joking about doing it on the show, but okay.
No, I want to hear it. I think people are gonna talk.
Okay. So
keep it clean, of course.
The tagline is peak performance. Therefore, Apple's announcing an online streaming adult entertainment service, and then this fall, just in time for the holiday buying season, they'll announce a new product line that ties in to the service, and it will be Apple branded sex toys.
Okay. iPorn, right?
Pick
it as you want.
You can finally sell the AirPod subwoofer that we all have seen pictures of.
And for those of you that really want to know what that is, you can Google it, but you probably shouldn't.
You shouldn't. So a good way to wrap up this segment about the events here. Go ahead.
We could kick Andrew's Tor browser back into that conversation.
Yes.
That's right. So it's going to be an interesting event. We'll have full coverage of the event next week's show. So we'll do a recap of what was announced. So we're always excited when the events happen. You'll definitely hear the coverage here on the show here. So let's move on to beta this week. And iOS 15.4 beta 5 was released this week. Betas have been pretty active these last couple of weeks. I always go to Warren because Warren, as you probably know, you may or may not know, Andrew, that he lives on the edge and puts every one of his production devices on beta.
Andrew does. I think I've heard Andrew does too, to be honest with you. You do the same, right?
Rushing in where angels fear to tread.
So I got two.
I could just tell by this guy jumps off cliffs and he puts beta on his phone. Like,
Exactly.
Anyhow,
all right.
Yes, I could see no noticeable difference of anything on the last betas. I could say the last round of betas for Apple has been great. I put the Windows the latest, I don't know if anybody plays with Windows 11 preview builds, but for about 2 weeks, it's been the worst experience of a while. So Apple wins this week's beta war of being better than Windows.
Yeah, we've covered pretty much all the new features and changes, including the universal control feature that's going to finally come to macOS Monterey.
Do you guys still not have the unlock with the mask?
That's in 15.
That is going to be in this new version.
So I mean, when they announced it, masks were a little more important. It's just saying. It's going to be a little.
I think it's going
the
to
timing is
be
terrible.
relevant again.
Because people are taking their masks off.
I mean, this is what I said last time when the stupid watch was unlocking the phone back then, and for 6 months I literally lived a better life by being able to unlock my phone with my thing. So
mask.
they did it again. I mean, it's stupid. They put this in beta and it should come out sooner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
they're
think
taking their
it'll end
time.
up being relevant again. Just be patient.
My
Yeah.
watch still tells me to wash my hands. That's how relevant that is.
Okay, you left it on.
See, that's actually really relevant.
Well,
Also,
that's because 2 years ago when this whole pandemic started, that was their solution. Remember, to tell
yeah,
you to
but
wash your
most people
hands.
don't wash their hands properly anyhow. They
No,
just like
and I still don't
wave
even
them
know
near the
without,
faucet. And
In fact, when I go to the bathroom and it says wash your hands, I scowl at it and say, no, you wash your hands, lady. But but yeah, I mean, it's just
Oh my gosh.
that's my rant right now. It's the rant right now is these are great features that they announced in this beta for this pandemic, and their timing was just awfully stupid on both of them. So
Still be great in the winter.
Yeah, it would. So, did you find anything on? You have beta on all of your devices, right? You said. Oh, Andrew, you have an Apple Watch too. We didn't even talk about that. Did you put beta on the watch?
I didn't mention my Apple Watch just because I really haven't been using it that much. Maybe I
okay.
should. So
Yeah, you need to be washing your hands better. Just ask me.
and
yeah, probably.
and you could have the experience of putting a beta on a watch that absolutely has no visual or any kind of difference
Nothing.
from the last version before it. This watch has looked exactly the same actually since I mean it's iOS 13, and whatever the watch OS was last year. It's the least changed.
7.
Apple TV is a close second. That thing, like
No, but we did get some exciting.
I get to watch
from 3 years,
Interesting.
from 2 years or 3 years of iOS tvOS. I don't think I've noticed like 1 or 2 differences.
This round there was a few new things we talked about. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. And Andrew, I had you on the show here, and one of the things I really wanted to have you talk to us about is you with the interest in security with your devices, and specifically here iOS. And iOS security has always been a really good, really good and secure. I think Apple does a really good job keeping your device secure, and they've always released white papers out for specifically for iOS security, and you'd have to read through it, and many of us probably don't read through, but I think it's a good thing. I have a link in the show notes here to the Apple platform security, because that's now how Apple is really centralizing everything into one place, which I think is great. This is a live site, just like it is with the user guides you have for a lot of their devices. So, it goes through and talks about some of the security, and we're really what is the kind of things that Apple does with iOS that you think stands out with protecting us on the devices more so than you covered Android a long time, so you as well, so you definitely have some insights here in the differences between the two.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think this new guide is really great. Like you mentioned previously, Apple only released white papers, aka this is just a PDF, and you kind of have to control F your way around it. Maybe nowadays Apple is this. They release this platform security guide. It's a web page. It's a lot more user friendly, in my opinion. Some of the things I like about what Apple is doing is, at least just with iOS 15, they've had the iCloud keychain for a while now. I really like that with 15, they have added support for two-factor authentication, these one-time based passcodes where, it changes every 30 seconds, but it's a really great way to add extra security to your online accounts. They've also added iCloud, iCloud Private Relay, which helps protect your browsing in Safari. You can add disposable emails with Hide My Email. So I'm personally really glad to see, I'm really happy with some of the changes Apple has made lately.
And then with the app security, that's I think is a huge thing too. Even on the Google Play Store, you always kind of make fun. Well, yeah, we should make fun because there's a lot of rogue apps out there, and Apple does such a great job keeping everything secure and rejects any apps they deem that are not secure. There's a lot of capabilities that Apple goes through. You kind of just you can briefly go through and with app security, what Apple does a good job at with keeping these apps actually working and keeping you secure.
Well, specifically, another feature they added in iOS 15 is, and this is on iPad OS as well. I think if you go into, I forget, settings, privacy, I think you scroll down at the bottom and it gives you the app privacy report, where you can see all the domains that these apps have been trying to contact, and maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff in here, and it gives you, I think, a good general idea if you know what you're looking for of what are these apps doing when you're not looking at them.
Absolutely. And then lastly, the services security that they have the overview on here too. That would be Find My and the Wallet app and iMessage and FaceTime, iCloud. They do a really good job, and like I said, all the services that you actually just described to really help and protect you from that, when including with your two-factor authentication with Apple ID and to manage Apple ID, and you can use those the fake email addresses and put those in place, and if you don't want to share your email address, which is great. What do you think? Do you think anything stands out with the services that the Apple does that's unique?
I think overall, in general, I'm pretty pleased with what they have so far. If anything stands out, I want to say maybe iCloud Private Relay, just because one of the things we talked about earlier was Orbot, that helps you connect to the Tor network. And I kind of referred to iCloud Private Relay as Baby Tor, because
I like that.
Yeah, it's not really in the same category. It does something similar where it bounces your traffic between less servers, I think, than Tor does. And it only works in Safari. It doesn't let you connect to Onion websites, but I think that's still a good step to, be private and maybe try to hide your IP address and location online.
Absolutely. Well, thanks. We're glad to get a little bit of overview of that. I've got, like I said, a link to the show notes to this platform security. It's an active site that keeps Apple continues to update, so you don't have to go download those white paper IB PDFs that end up being filed somewhere in your hard drive somewhere, because they get out of the date.
Point out one thing about that website or web page?
Yeah,
please. I love that they're updating it all the time, and yet the icon that they have for iOS, it's still the one that says 14. They never changed it to 15.
You're right. I just noticed that. They never changed that. Oh my gosh. Apple, come on, you got to get going here. A lot of date, but otherwise everything, all the rest of this content is up to date.
It is a good page.
It is. So check that out. A couple more topics here before we wrap it up here. The Lightning connector. It's 10 years old this year. And are we near getting an upgrade to USB-C? We've debated this a number of times. I have an article here in the show notes from 9to5Mac that is asking what's the next decade in store for the Lightning connector, and will we see it in future devices, namely the iOS, the iPhone 14, and I think it's long in the tooth. I think it's gone a long time. I don't recall the 30-pin connector went anywhere near as long as the Lightning connector has, but it's got so much limitations. It's not fast, and I like to kind of hear your guys' thoughts. Where is this going to go now? MagSafe is back, and they brought that back. What about Lightning? Are they going to finally get rid of Lightning in lieu of USB-C? Jeff, what do you think?
They're going to get rid of Lightning because everything eventually goes away and gets replaced with something else.
Yeah,
Lightning will, I think, fairly soon be gone from all iPads, and so all iPads will be USB-C. Yeah, there's only one left, so that'll go USB-C. The iPhone, I believe, is going to stay Lightning until it's not. And what I mean by that is until they just get rid of that type of port completely. And it won't go to USB-C because it's going to be whatever Apple does next. And and I think the reason we haven't seen iPhone go to USB-C yet is because it's not going to happen.
Okay. What do you think, Andrew?
I agree. I have had thoughts about this before. My thought has always been, the rumors were, is the iPhone going to USB-C or is it going to go portless? My opinion is at this point, I think Apple is going to, for the iPhone, skip over USB-C and just go straight to portless, because I don't think it makes sense to go through this whole port transition where maybe they want to keep the iPhone on another 10 years with a whole other port, because the rumors of the portless iPhone, it seems more recent to me. Those have been kind of surfacing over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
One of the kind of downsides I've heard about a portless iPhone is that, with MagSafe, it's wireless power, but they're still got wireless data transfer to work with. But the other side of this, I think, is that they will slowly introduce this. Maybe only one model of maybe the iPhone 14 or 15 will be portless, and then just slowly, gradually transition us to this new paradigm.
Absolutely.
Andrew, I have a hypothesis on what that portless iPhone will be. And it won't be, it'll be portless in the sense that there's not going to be a place that you stick a connector in the bottom anymore. But I think that they'll do something along the lines of, or in the same vein of, the spirit of the smart connector that we see on like the iPad Pro. And so there'll be this flat thing where maybe with MagSafe, maybe it's designed so that you can drop the iPhone in a sled and add in extra ports that way. But I think there's going to be some sort of physical connector for data at least. And we just haven't seen what that is yet.
Yep. And then Warren, you get the final word. What is your thoughts on Lightning? Is it going away?
I'm more with Andrew. Andrew, I think portless is going to be where they're going to go. The only issue is sometimes Europe gets upset when people can't charge their devices with things that people have in their house. So will they go portless and provide a MagSafe charger with every phone, because that's the only way you can do it? And will they give you like a MagSafe to USB-C adapter or A adapter in Europe? Maybe, I don't know. And I think if they try hard enough, you could probably data transfer through this. Well, can you get data through a magnet, like steel magnets? I don't know. Why not?
Okay.
So I mean, the iStick, you put it on there, and it'll, it might be slower than. Anyways, the watch doesn't have any ports on it, and in the early days it was a pain in the butt because it didn't have any ports, and when something broke, then it broke. Because there's no, like any other device, we're all techs and we're all able to figure out how to put a device in recovery and fix it. So I broke my watch twice in my beta life, and I replaced it. But
too many times.
I mean, they're actually really good about it with the beta program. They're like, yeah. I'm like, I broke it. They're like, okay, we'll send you a new one. I'm like, all right, cool. But then the last time I went, they're like, I don't know if I bricked it or was worried about bricking it, but they don't send it. They actually send it. They send it back to Apple. They crack the glass, reset it, reseal the glass, and the whole. I mean, it's a mess, right? So, anyway, bring it back to the phone is that would be sad if they were portless. Guys like us would have to send their phone back to Apple when we brick them. So,
all right, and then I got one last topic here before we wrap things up here. We just talked about the Apple event that's coming. Why not talk about some future rumors here? The AirTag. Will there be an AirTag Max in 2023? I wonder. I have an article here on iDrop News I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to kind of touch upon this a little bit here. AirTag obviously been very popular, obviously getting a lot of press lately because of security. I think it's familiar. Rumors are saying that they have Apple has begun working on a new AirTag Pro, which is bigger than the current AirTag, and a different form factor, which will be interesting to see where that goes.
Why would what? Why would anybody want a bigger tracker?
I'm with you, Warren.
Like what's
that's what I said.
If anything, the AirPod Max should be smaller. Like you know, the better version should be smaller than the bigger version.
But they're also saying that Apple supposedly is working on a new U2 chip to succeed successor to the U1 for better range. And then they're also saying potentially that there could be an AirTag quote Max, which would be like a card-like tracker, which would somehow be nearly as slim as of an Apple Card. So again, all purely rumors. I thought whether we throw this out here, and then of course they're saying the pricing will be a little more.
Thin's a little bit bigger than just big, but okay, that's a little different.
Could it happen, Andrew? What do you think? Do you think this is something that Apple is working on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I find
I haven't heard any rumors about new AirTag hardware. It's just
this
they're
is
trying
fresh.
to improve the software.
Yeah, right. Because of all the security concerns.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but the Find My and make sure that it's traceable if someone puts a rogue tag in someone's purse or car.
Okay.
That was the big thing. So, but yeah, I figured there'll be a fun thing to wrap up here. It's just some crazy stories, and this site tends to have some of the crazy stories, and who knows? I mean, who knows? I mean, Jeff, you always talking about the Tile, and then how Tile's been around for so long, and you never hear any security questions about them, but they're just as insecure, I would think, than Apple was with their AirTag. Not that the AirTag was that bad, but
But I read an article just recently. I know we need to wrap up fast. So
we're fine. No, go. Good. So.
I read an article recently where this reporter took an AirTag and a Tile, and his family helped him with this, and so he put the tags like in their school backpacks and stuff like that, so he could track and see just how effective it was to follow someone with a Tile and with an AirTag. And what he found was that it didn't make that much difference if it was a Tile or an AirTag, because there's enough devices out there.
Yeah.
AirTag updates he was getting more often than Tile, but not so much that it was like, holy crap, I can track someone in real time. Neither were good for real time. And basically what it was is that if you put one of these trackers on someone, what you needed to do was wait until they get somewhere where they're just going to be for a while, and then you'll be able to figure out where the tag is. And he was able to see an AirTag with in some cases a little bit more accurate location than a Tile. Like one of the AirTags, he was able to see it was within a couple houses of where it actually was. And then the Tile, it was like a couple more houses were in the mix. So, at this point, I'm done with people that say, oh, Apple needs to fix this and they're the worst for this.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of clickbait out there on stories.
AirTags and Tile, they are practically speaking the same, and they're not devices that you can use to track someone in real time. Also, I'm with Andrew on this article. Nope, not happening.
Yeah, it's still too new. We'll see what happens next year, a year from now. We got at least 3 or 4 more events coming up with Apple, so we'll be excited about stuff. Go ahead, you get the last word, Warren.
So I reviewed, I think, Chipotle wallet or something like that, and it came with the very thin like tile, like credit card kind of thing. So I could see the use case for that. Other than that, I'm gonna end with playing a sound on my dog. Let's see what she does.
Nice.
She's quiet.
She doesn't care. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap things up.
Okay.
That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate the support. It's also on our website. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, I should say, youtube.com/DaveG65. And you can watch listen to past shows and watch the videos. You can also visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics that we discussed are flipped onto the list, and you can go, and that's many of the articles that we talk about that are in our show notes as well. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. And Andrew Orth, thank you so much. I had such a great time with you on the show. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. You can find me writing at macobserver.com, Apple, privacy, security, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, keep in touch with me in there.
Great. Thanks again. Then Jeff, thanks as always for being here. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me back. It's always fun. People can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jay Gamut on both, youtube.com/JGamut for my videos. And hey, you and I are going to be on the Mac show together on Friday morning.
Yeah.
A lot of Tuesdays I'm on Mac Voices Live. And Brian Chaffin and I have teamed up again. And we have transformed Apple Context Machine into the Context Machine. And we've finished recording our most recent episode shortly before I hopped in here with you. So we'll have a new episode of that out.
Awesome.
As we're recording, probably within hours.
Awesome. And I enjoyed the cord cutting show last week. So
thanks.
You guys are cranking them out. That's great. All right, Warren, where is everybody finding you?
Well, before I do that, I got a question. So my Twitter is WSClar. It's obvious first letter, last name. Jeff, J Gamut, obvious too. At Dave, that's Dave and 65, probably the year you were born. Andrew, what the heck is this? Andrew Woe Not.
Andrew Woe Not.
So what am I looking at here? What am I trying to figure out?
Yeah, my Twitter can be kind of weird sometimes, but
it's awesome. It's clever.
It's the best. Or not.
What is it, Andrew or not? Is that what I'm trying to get? But there's not an or.
Yeah, Andrew or not. It's a story from middle school.
Okay. All right. Just trying to figure it out.
And where are they finding you, Warren?
Right now, I've been quiet the last 2 weeks because of work, but Back to the Future Facebook group. It's fun. No shame to be there. We won't tell anybody that you're there
fun.
Because of the Facebook hate, but it's a fun group. A lot of people, I think, are 4 people posted today that there's going to be a Apple event next week, so that's always fun.
Wait, there's an Apple event?
There is?
Yeah,
I was waiting for you to say. Yeah, we know.
I always love. Well, I did on Facebook, but I love whenever people kind of post, and then like a day and a half later, one person posts the same thing about the event. I'm like, okay, I mean it's a day and a half later now. Come on, there's a back group, but
that's all right. Don't really kill them. They're there to have some fun. So
it's going to be like the Internet Explorer meme, right? Welcome, Internet Explorer being slow. Anyhow, Back to the Future Facebook group is where I am. And
great,
Andrew, very cool meeting you. Well, like having you here. I think I met you before on Chuck's
Mac Voices.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
right,
yeah,
thanks.
I've been at Mac Voices.
Yeah.
All right, and Warren, thanks for that. Thanks for being here, and thanks you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. and we really appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, that was fun.
That was great. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being
Good
here,
to
Andrew.
answer.
I hope I didn't
Sorry if you
sound
died.
weird because on my end, for like the past 15 minutes, it's been really laggy. So I'm like,
I noticed, yeah, because
Trying to
when I would
follow
ask
I
you a
could tell
question,
you were I could tell
Yeah.
you were having a latency issue, but it wasn't
yeah,
bad.
It was fine. Yeah.
yeah, I could tell,
Yeah.
but I kept it going. Yeah,
Yep,
Jeff,
most
Jeff,
people
what's your
won't know.
excuse?
What's my excuse? I live in Boulder. The air's thin and weed is legal.
weed's legal here, Sue. So,
Well, the air is thin.
Oh boy.
all right, I'm gonna stop the stream. Goodbye, live stream. See you later.